Hi everyone, Lisa Haven here, and I've got a bombshell of a report that I want to share. One in which I kind of gathered information of what's going on now, tied it to prior information, and I've got a huge reveal on the CDC, the Center for Disease Control. I actually put out a report on the CDC about a week ago, and they have since revamped and changed the entire event. Now I'm going to tell you what that is in a moment, but for starters, before I get into that, I want to tell you that Pope Francis is issuing a tantalizing warning to America. Not only him, but we've had similar warnings from Joe Biden and leading generals about nuclear war being underway, and I'm going to show you those reports. But everything I have for you today is going to tie together. But in the end, I want to show you how Deagle, and I've brought Deagle on to my channel before, talked about it multiple times, but the prediction of the death of millions by this organization who is directly linked to the United States government. They're not a government organization, but they do work for our U.S. government, like work for them, not part of them, if that makes sense. But let me take you to the first report here. This one is found on Yahoo News, and it was put out January 15th of this year, and it's titled, Pope warns world is one step away from a nuclear war. Pope Francis said on Monday he was really afraid about the danger of nuclear war, that the world now stood the very limit, at the very limit. It goes on, his comment was made as he flew off for a visit to Chile and Peru, and came after Hawaii issued their fake or false missile alert that provoked panic in the United States and highlighted the risk of the possible unintended nuclear war with North Korea. When asked if he was worried about the possibility of nuclear war, Pope Francis said, "I think we are at a great, very limit. I am really afraid of this. One accident is enough to precipitate things." He did not mention Hawaii or North Korea. But here's the thing. I did a whole report 2 days ago on Hawaii, how I believe, look, it's got 5 fail safes. To recap, you can't just push a button and oops, somebody did it. No, there's things in place. You have to take this step, get this approval, this step, this approval, this step, this approval 5 times over. So it's not an accident. That's my stance. I'm going to stand there. But the reason, predictive programming on people, preparing them for possible nuclear war and distraction from things like the latest information on uranium-1, because they're indicting people, and second, the new information that has been spilled on what's going on in Las Vegas. So those are some of the things that I touched on as a recap. But now we have Pope Francis saying we're very on the precipice of war. But he is not the only one. Here's 2 prior reports. The first one here is from CBSnews.com. Joe Biden worries the United States have never been closer to nuclear war with North Korea. Not only Joe Biden, but on CNN Politics, former Joint Chiefs Chairman Mike Mullen, nuclear war with North Korea is closer now than ever before. So there are 3 people who are warning of nuclear war, or warning that we are on the brink of nuclear war. Now, here's something that I want to bring back up. Now, in a report that I put out a couple of weeks ago, I'll reference it below. The report that I put out was titled Nuclear War Ahead, ? CDC officially warns the United States with talk of how to survive a nuclear war. Now, this is a report I put out on January the 6th of this year, saying and talking about how the CDC plans to prepare. Now, here's that screenshot from the CDC, so you can see it for yourself. I have it embedded in my video also, but you can see the CDC was planning a class on the 16th of this year to discuss the survival of the public health response to a nuclear detonation. And here they clearly say that they believe it's unlikely. However, in the event that one happens, they want to make sure that the American public is prepared for it. Very clearly on that screenshot, that is what they were going to do. Now, fast forward to today, the 15th, they've totally revamped what that was about. So now the CDC changed and updated the event. No longer is it a nuclear detonation response, but now it is a public health response to severe influenza. You can see they even put a note there saying January 16th CDC public health grand rounds topic changed. They didn't say what it changed from, because what it changed from was the screenshot you saw a moment ago, but it changed from the nuclear response to public health response to severe influenza. Why do that? Now, I put another report out yesterday, just go to the prior video, in which I detailed how the flu here in America is basically spreading and getting worse. And this is one of the worst flu seasons we've had in a number of years. And the CDC predicted that it could be the worst one in 50 years. Maybe that is why the CDC changed the topic, or which 100 people have now died of that, over 100, which is a very horrible thing, but it's not mass crazy numbers that should send everyone into a panic. Very devastating for those who had that happen, but not a panic number. That said, the CDC has changed that event, tomorrow's event on the 16th, to this response to severe influenza. So I have a question. Was it because of the outbreak of influenza that they said that, or because of the attention that was given to the class? Because that news report from the CDC about their nuclear class that they were going to give went pretty viral all over the internet, and now they've changed it. Why do that? Well, I'll leave that for you to ponder and think about in your head, but a possibility, I think, is, well, maybe they don't want to panic the public, or maybe they want to kind of push it under the rug. Do they know something we don't about a nuclear war? Well, I don't know. All I know is that they absolutely changed the class. Now, one little piece of the pie, and this I pulled up from a long time ago, brought it on here many a times, but Daigle.com has forecasted that there will be millions of deaths. They even forecast that North Korea will be wiped off the map. Here's a screenshot from Daigle.com. Again, they work with the government, not under the government. They kind of do contract work of sorts for them. But here, it says that in 2025, you can see in 2016, it says 25 million people live in North Korea. Fast forward to 2025, there is no numbers for North Korea. Are they telling us that no one is going to be alive in North Korea? Are they going to be wiped off the map? Then check out what it shows on America. And I've showed this before. America in 2016, they show 324 million people living in America. By 2025, they show 54 million. That means 270 million people here in America have died. Where did they go? By 2025. And here we are in 2018. So about 7 years from now, 270 million people are supposed to be dead, and all of North Korea is supposed to be dead, according to Daigle.com. Interesting. When they were confronted and asked about these numbers, they stood their ground. And I personally asked, a few others that I know have asked, but they just said, this is what we feel due to the economic and war situations that we're at. So we're standing firm on our predictions and our numbers. Anyhow, I'd love to get your thoughts, comments, and concerns on everything. Please don't forget to make sure you are prepared. I'm a huge prepper. I use My Patriot Supply. You can see here. They have all your supplies. Make sure you're stored, because you never know what tomorrow is going to hold. So there's a link for My Patriot Supply, also a phone number. I get these things for gifts for people, all kinds of things. So if it does hit the fan, at least I can say, hey, I bought you all this stuff during, so you would have stuff on hand as well. So they're great gifts to give as well, and always good to be prepared. And please don't forget to check out my other partner at virtualshield.com/Lisa Haven to make sure you've worked with your IP address and all of that, an IP address scrambler. Anyhow, thanks again for tuning in. I'm Lisa Haven, signing out.